Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Starkey Farmstead. I wanted to get out here before the sun really got up, show you guys how awesome the garden is looking. So we finally got rain, and we didn't get a little bit, we got a little more than 2 inches over 3 days. And I'm super excited about that because rainwater is the best way to water your garden. Why? I had to actually look it up. I'm like, why? I knew it was. It's obvious. But why? So rainwater is basically like a fertilizer for your garden. It contains something called nitrates, which is a bioavailable form of nitrogen. So yes, when it rains, guys, you're dumping available nitrogen all over your plants. And when I tell you that the garden just grew, it was tremendous. I wish I could have come out here and measured it prior to the rain and afterwards, because even though I'm well watering, it's not the same. It's just like you can't get quite enough water out here. Now I know that a lot of people do rainwater catchment systems, but I wanted to show you guys what we do here at Starkey Farmstead that it's a little different. All right, so we do heavy mulching on the garden with a no-till. You might till, you might not heavy mulch, but let me encourage you to put a heavy mulch around each and every one of your plants, at least around the root zone. Because guys, your root zones, that is the most important part of your plant. It is the lifeline of the plant. So if you can mulch heavy, I don't care if you're using cardboard, leaves, pine straw, hay, just regular straw, even grass cuttings, clippings, whatever you can get around the root, wood chips around the root zone of your plant. It's going to do two things. When it rains, it's going to slow the water down around your plant. Your mulch is going to absorb a lot of that water. All right. The water that gets through the mulch to the roots is going to be going much slower. All right. It's going to seep in, and after it rains the next day when the sun comes up, instead of the soil drying right back out, it's going to stay nice and moist. So your plant roots are going to go deeper into the soil, following the water that was able to be absorbed by your soil. Because imagine rain coming down on tilled soil. What happens is the topsoil gets washed away. The rain's coming down so hard that it barely soaks up into the ground. It pretty much just runs off. So the plants get almost none compared to a heavy mulch garden, where my mulch, the entire 1/4 acre is heavy mulched. So it just slows that water down to a point that almost none of it runs out of the garden. So all of that water got absorbed into my soil. And now for the next couple of days, my plants will still be feeding off of, you got it, rainwater. So for me, eventually I'll set up barrels and irrigate that way. That's like a long-term thing. Here in Southeast Louisiana, I usually get enough rain during my grow season that I only have to irrigate every couple of days. However, we had a pretty bad drought in May, and now that we're in June, it seems like the rain's coming back pretty normal and the garden is beginning to thrive. So I wanted to share that with you guys, because the second reason you want to add mulch around your root zones is you want to keep the temperature of your roots cool during the heat. Now, a lot of people tell me my plants just look terrible, Sam, in July and August, when even September, when the heat is so bad. It can be a real problem. But one way that you can help mitigate that, one way that you can get out there and help keep your plants healthy and strong, even in the heat, guys, you don't need shade cloth. You don't need all that. My garden is actually situated where it gets 12 hours of Southeast Louisiana sun a day. And I don't have heat stroke issues in my garden, okay? And the reason is, when I say heavy mulch, look at that. It's like 2 feet of hay packed down on top of this clay soil. So what happens is, if you move back my hay and slide your hand down to the soil on a 115-degree day, my soil is cool. And I mean cool. Like, it makes you want to climb under the hay and lay there to cool your body temperature down. So yes, the leaves are getting the heat, But the leaves, they are important, guys. They help in the photosynthesis process into converting the sunlight, gathering the sunlight to convert everything to sugars that your plants need to grow the fruits. But it is the roots that are the lifeline of your plants. You have to protect your roots, okay? They take up the oxygen. They take up the water. They take up the majority of the nutrients that your plant's gonna need to produce food. So if you can heavy mulch around just your root zones, you'll catch a whole lot more rainwater, which I've already told you is basically like a nitrogen fertilizer that God is dumping on your garden. And 2, you will help that plant survive extreme weather events, whether that is drought, whether that is torrential downpours, whether that is extreme heat or a cold snap that was unexpected. If you can protect the roots, you can protect the plant. And I'm just telling you guys this because I want everybody to have a successful garden this year. And the weather has been a little insane already. We had a late cold freeze come through Louisiana in March and wiped people's gardens out. We had no rain in May. You know, who knows what June, July, and August is going to look like. But there are steps that you can take to catch and slow down the rainwater in your garden without barrels and protect your root zones to keep your plants thriving regardless of what the weather above them is doing. So guys, have a blessed day. Get out there, get something tucked up underneath your plants about a foot out in a circle around your roots, because the deeper those roots go, the better they do in drought, the better they do in storms, the better they do in heat. Not to mention, deep in the soil are micronutrients that have not been tapped into, okay? Topsoil tends to have to be fed. We have to feed it, manure, compost, worm castings. But the deeper soils have nutrients that have been untapped. So the deeper your roots go, the more minerals and nutrients they can get for themselves without your help. I hope that this helps. Our garden's looking amazing. Yes, I do have some weed breakthrough. Thanks, rain. So I'm gonna have to do patches through here, covering back up where the weeds are coming through, but I don't weed a whole lot. I'll be very honest. I usually just walk by with a big pile of hay and drop another pile of hay right there and kill those plants where they're at, leave their roots in the ground for the microorganisms, kill the grass on top or whatever's breaking through. And what happens is it basically adds nitrogen back to the soil. But I can tell you this, I've never grown tomatoes like this, ever. Okay, so this is our second year in the no-till organic regenerative garden, and my tomato plants have never ever looked better. I'm very excited about that. I was able to direct seed this year on hard packed clay. Direct seed without tilling. What? Guys, like, that's amazing. That truly is amazing. We couldn't get a shovel in the soil 2 years ago. You go about that far. My husband used to use a pickaxe to get anything into the soil. So that is a testament to the no-till. It's a literally softening up my clay year after year, where I can get those minerals out of that clay, because there is no better soil in the world to garden in than clay. And the majority of the world, you got it, has clay-based soils. So we have to learn to work with nature instead of against it, because guys, we are not gonna win, all right? You are not gonna beat Mother Nature. God created her to be very, well, I say it to her, but you know, God created this system to be very specific. I cannot, and y'all, the okra, I just cannot wait to get in this garden today. So you guys have a blessed day. Get out there, get some mulch around those root zones. Start slowing that water down so your plants get every drop of it, okay? Rather than running it off your garden with your topsoil into the nearest lake or river or ditch. It's your topsoil. You worked for it. Keep it with your plants. Just get some mulch underneath them, okay? I promise you, you'll have a completely different garden. Even if you tilled, just go out around all your plants, get some heavy mulch up underneath them. You guys have a blessed day. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know how your garden did with all this rain we just got. I'm so excited about it. Talk to you guys later.